welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Cantina. Feel free to subscribe, hit the bell for more content, hit the likes. Share away here, we share away here for a little Star Wars. Today I'm going to talk about two topics. Pablo Hidalgo's passive-aggressive blocking spree and the passive-aggressive baiting of Ethan Van Sciver and Jeremy and at Geeks and Gamers. And J.J. Abrams being misunderstood. So get ready for the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Cantina. This is Stephanie, your friendly neighborhood bar manager. Feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, blah, blase, blah, like I said in the hologram part of the video. Today, I'm going to talk about two subjects. One about the weird passive-aggressive behavior of Pablo Hidalgo. I'm going to put my smarty glasses on. Let it not be said that Pablo is one of the most hated people by the fans at Lucasfilm. And he knows it. He has been mocked, ridiculed, and I would say baited by the biggest YouTube channels out there. Ethan Van Sciver, Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, World-Class Bullshitters, myself, Craig at Reviews for You, Anna, that Star Wars girl, Jessie Milestone, all of us. So here's the question. He goes on a wild blocking spree over the last week. This is a week after he basically seemed to come unhinged after, since the early part of last June, since last June, where he had some bizarro behavior on his Twitter account. It was obvious that somebody higher up slapped his hand and told him to shut his effing mouth. And that, he'd been pretty much backed off of attacking fans, mocking fans, baiting fans. And there's at least a good 6 years of that behavior on Twitter that many of us have taken screenshots. So it's not like we don't know, and it's not like we can prove our point. If he had just kept his mouth shut, kept his head down, done his job, and this is the guy that complains, how come everybody knows who I am? That's because you make sure everybody knows who you effing are. You don't want to know, you don't want us to know who the brand manager of Lucasfilm is, Pablo? Then get off of Twitter. Put your head down, do your work, and shut up. This is a case of someone who thinks they're actually valuable to a franchise, who turns into Nolan Sorrento from Ready Player One and thinks he's far more important than he actually ever was. What he is an Uber fanboy who got lucky with a good job at Lucasfilm. He's never shown any gratitude towards George Lucas that I can see. If someone can find a link to it, hey, I'll say fine, that's good. But there's more gratitude than that. There's an appreciation for what Lucas built. There's an appreciation for the lore he began. And you cannot act the way you act, Pablo, and convince people that you actually feel gratitude for anything you have. Because you act like a complete victim, and it's ridiculous. You are not a victim. Any trouble that was caused, you are all of it or part of it, at least half of it. Okay? You operate on an emotional level that I don't think a man should, and be healthy psychologically. I don't. So anyway, let's go. This last week, he went on a blocking spree. He blocked everyone from Ethan Van Sciver to Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers after he had sent, and this is after he had sent Pablo had sent his flying monkeys to attack Mecha for basically calling out Captain Marvel for being a pile of SJW feminazi garbage. And then Lo and behold, last Friday and Saturday, it's been a week now, sweet wife Chrissy shows up defending her husband and saying, well, you know, you can love what you love, and if the franchise you love doesn't, you know, jibe with it, with what you think it should be anymore, you can always go. Chrissy, from us to you, you don't own Star Wars. Neither does your husband. Neither does Kathleen Kennedy. And actually, when you look at this whole thing, neither does Bob Iger. Just because you make money off of it doesn't mean you own it. The people that buy the stuff own it. Okay, the fans do. Fans are customers. I hate to tell you this, Chrissy, but it's the truth, and you gotta know that, okay? So she gets on there defending her man and shitting on the fans, and then denies it the next day in a tweet. I did videos on it. Jeremy called her out. Ethan Van Sciver was class act and left it alone. There are those of us who basically looked at her resume thinking, well, she works for Lucasfilm too. And she made herself available to be targeted by pissed off customers. Okay, so Pablo comes to her rescue, white knights her. Well, I mean, her husband, you'd expect him to do that. Then he goes on this blocking spree. Why? 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 You know, there is no reason for it for him to be doing this. You know, you would think, I would think, anybody would think that it would be kind of good for him to see what the people who are mad at him are saying. But he went on this blocking spree. He blocked, like I said, Ethan, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure he's blocked world-class bullshitters. And he's blocked a lot of people who've never even said a word to him. So they're using blocking chains. Isn't that nice? But then today you see these videos coming out, and from someone who's undercover, and it's very interesting to me. You know, I don't know what it's about. They're basically came up with a picture of Yoda and used some sort of byline from Ethan and talking about it being a video, and then using some commie shit on there. And when you look at what Ethan's done, he uses Yoda in his introduction. He's got several introductions to his videos and changes them up a lot, and they're great. And if they're trying to bait people, they're not doing a good job at all, because they blocked everybody that would care. And this is really, to me, very interesting. I don't know what is really going on. Part of me says he's running scared, and I'm talking about Hidalgo right now. Part of me says he's worried about his job, and a lot of fans, including me, have been calling for his job for a long time, as well as Andy Gutierrez, anybody who caused problems with the customer base. And, you know, the problem is they're so condescending. I think that's the problem. It really, really, it pisses people off. It really, really does. And they're reaping the whirlwind for it, obviously. Lucasfilm as a whole is. It's not fair to their fellow workers who love what they're doing, who don't like the direction Lucasfilm has taken and want to fix it. It's unfair to the legacy of George Lucas. It's basically in contradiction to everything he did. You know, sure, he changed canon when he could, but he was a creator, and that was within his right. However, when you go off the deep end, like Hidalgo, quote him out of context constantly, and egg on the fans, and I remember stuff even from like a year ago this February, I believe Freddie Prinze Jr. jumped in, and you know, the voice of Kanan Jarrus jumped in, and it was just a freaking disaster. And, you know, I can't, you know, Hidalgo's time at Lucasfilm should have ended when George left. But I have a feeling this was Pablo when George walked out the door. He was doing a dance and then pouring gasoline on the EU and everything that Lucas had given them and setting it ablaze. All right? You know, there's a reason why last June he changed his new Twitter account to Leftist Dirtbag. That's actually from me, by the way. I want to say this. I am taking full responsibility for calling him that to his face on Twitter. What he doesn't understand, what hardly any people understand, is that a lot of people that said the same thing are Democrats and leftists. They just don't want those politics in Star Wars. Okay? See, here's the deal. They run around screaming, the people like Hidalgo run around screaming that Star Wars is a kid's movie. It's just a movie. No, it's not. It is a cultural, relevant, important cultural masterpiece. It is like the Buddhas at Bamyan that the Taliban destroyed. It is like the Mona Lisa. It is like, Michelangelo's Pieta. It is like the pyramids of Giza. It is a piece of literature, visual art, musical art that is important for people to understand who we are. That's what art is about. It's supposed to uplift, not tear down. And they've pretty much torn everybody down. They deconstructed Han Solo's character, which is what postmodernist nihilist leftists do. They deconstructed Luke's character, which is what postmodernist nihilists leftists do. They deconstructed Leia's character, which is what postmodernist nihilists do. They're in the middle of deconstructing Anakin and Padme and, trying to turn Vader into some freaking anti-hero. It's time to stop. And passively, aggressively blocking Ethan, blocking Jeremy, blocking the rest of us. And then baiting people that you blocked is utterly stupid. All right? We can still see it. We can still see it. Okay? And didn't you promise to shut your mouth about attacking fans anymore? Or you attacking fans just opened up a whole Pandora's box of pissed offedness on our side that now you've made yourself a target, Pablo. I wish I didn't know who I was. Well, guess what, soy boy? We do. You made damn sure we all knew who you were. That's partly and mostly your fault by going on Twitter and advertising yourself as being the aficionado, nerd boy, scholarly keeper of all Star Wars lore. You're utterly full of shit and you're a phony. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about J.J. Abrams. He was interviewed on the red carpet at some event. IGN took up the thing, and he basically was talking about how Episode 9 was a movie that kind of would stand on its own, and people are shitting themselves. First off, guys, guess what? That doesn't mean that he's not retconning TLJ. Okay, so you can all exhale. If you look at TFA, it stands on its own. It's a mediocre movie at best, but it does stand on its own. If you look at any of the movies in the original trilogy, they can all stand on their own. Empire, I think, Empire and New Hope more than Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is obvious, a continuation of a story. But A New Hope, you could have ended it at the medal ceremony and then had people wondering for the next 80 years, who does Leia end up with, Han or Luke? You get into The Empire Strikes Back and, it picks up a year, like 3 years later, and that's still a standalone story. And that movie really could just be the only movie you see. It ends in a cliffhanger, but still, so I understand what JJ's trying to say. I also understand that he is trying to link all 9 movies, all 3 parts of the saga, Skywalker family saga, together, okay? But he was trying to tell us, and he's been misunderstood, that episode 9 won't follow TLJ. That's what he was saying. But you gotta stop thinking emotionally about this. You gotta look at what their words really mean. And I stopped and I looked and I watched it. I watched the video. I read what it said. And I'm not disappointed in what he said. And again, people right now are too angry. And their anger is directed at people that don't need it. And I think it's time for y'all just to kind of breathe and settle and calm down and, be cynical and pragmatic about what is going on. We still haven't seen a teaser. I don't know when that's going to come out. We haven't seen a title. I'm going to slide back to Hidalgo and all the civil war going on. That I do believe is going on at Lucasfilm. I think part of the reason why they're so afraid is that when the teaser comes out, they don't know what they're doing. In fact, if I remember right, there's also a Twitter thing where Hidalgo was mocking J.J. Abrams. Just recently, like yesterday. I saved those two, and I'll have all that on this video. But anyway, for the most part, I wouldn't be too upset with what JJ said. He's doing the best he can. He's got his work cut out for him. And, he didn't mean what you think he meant. All right. And as for Hidalgo, whatever's going on, you brought it on yourself, dude. And none of us feel sorry for you at all. Okay? We really, really don't. You were part of this. So anyway, this is Steph. I'll see you around the galaxy. I'll see you around the cantina. Remember, tip your Wookiee bartenders 20%. Don't start any funny business or the Wookiee bouncers will get pissed off. And I'll see you around. Take care. One of the things that Pablo Hidalgo likes to do is passively aggressively troll people. Here he's trolling D-Day Cobra, Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers. Here he's trolling, I think, everybody. And there's another set of tweets where he's trolling Ethan Van Sciver with the same picture. And this guy, Eric Geller, he works for Politico. He's a cybersecurity guy. I don't know what his thing is, but we need to watch him. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, thanks for stopping by the cantina. I hope, your time here was well spent and fun. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for more content with no app uploading. And like away, we like away here. And we share away here for the love of Star Wars. I'll see you around the galaxy. And the next time I stop in the next time you're in the cantina. Adios.